Hi, I'm Kevin Eikenberry, and I'm here to help you reach your potential as a leader and a human being. Welcome to Remarkable TV and the Remarkable Leadership Podcast. Today we're talking about helping your feedback get accepted. Are you ready? Well, let's get started. Well, this is the third in a series of sessions. The first two have already come out, and this is the third one. Each one is to help you think about one of the steps that's required to have effective feedback happen. And to have effective feedback happen, what are we trying to get to? People taking action on the ideas and insights that we share with them, right? So what has to happen before we can get to action? 4 things total. Let's talk about them here. First, it must be heard. The feedback that you give must be heard. They must actually take it in. Second, it must be understood. People have to get it. They have to understand what you meant and why you said it and how it would be useful. Third, it must be accepted. And that's what we're talking about today. All of that must happen before it can be applied. And there's your 4 steps. Feedback must be heard, understood, accepted, that's today, and applied. But before it can get accepted, we got to talk about what you can't do. You can't make people accept your feedback. Can't force them. You might be able to get people to take action under protest or for a moment. What we're after here is not compliance. What we want is people to be committed. We don't want people to just say, yes, sir, or yes, ma'am, or yes, boss, and then trape off and do it, because they're going to do it half-heartedly. They're probably not going to stick with it, and it's really not going to work. What we want is acceptance, and you can't make them accept it. What we can do is improve the chances that they'll choose to accept it. And I've got 4 important ideas today to improve the chances that people will accept the feedback that you give them. This is after they've heard it and understood it. First, make it a conversation. Here's the thing. If you're the boss giving the feedback, there's naturally a power differential between the two of you, right? And if you start giving feedback first, and then you want them to share something later, you've missed your shot. If you want to make it a conversation, you actually have to ask them first. So Joe, how do you think it went? So Julia, what do you think went well here? So George, what would you do differently next time? Anything to get them thinking about how it went and provide some feedback to themselves. Why? Because it's very possible that some of the things that they've noticed, you noticed. And if they share them, there's no chance of defensiveness, which is the big challenge to acceptance. I'm warding it off. I don't want to take it in. But people don't argue with their own data. So the more that they are saying, here's what I saw, and you can reinforce it, the better. Plus, if there are things that you saw that they didn't, or perceptions and observations that you have that they don't have, if you've already started it as a conversation, they're more likely to hear, understand, and accept what you have as opposed to being in defensive mode. Right? Next, share observations, not judgments. Observations are what the videotape showed. Judgments are, here's what I think about you. And when we feel judged, we feel defensive. And so when we feel judged, we are unlikely to accept it because we immediately go to what? We go to justification, rationalization, and protection. So share what you saw. What does the data show? What would the videotape show? Not what you think. Observation and not judgment. Next, show them the impact of what they're doing well and maybe what they're not doing so well. So remember, feedback is not only about what they could fix, but what you want them to keep doing. So make sure people know why what they're doing is important and why doing it well is important. Help them see the impact. That will help people get past but I don't really want to, or I didn't think I did to, oh, I didn't realize it had that impact. Maybe I need to reconsider my current habit. And lastly, be patient. sometime in your life, someone gave you feedback and you resisted it for a while, maybe for quite a long while, we should be patient because acceptance doesn't always happen instantly or automatically. If we're willing to be patient and empathetic, if we're willing to create a conversation, we have a much better chance of getting people to say, you know what? That makes sense. And I ought to keep doing that because that works, even if it's harder, or I need to change that because that's not really working. Let me close with today's tweet. Before people can apply the feedback you give them, help them accept it as valid and useful. Before that happens, application is unlikely. If you're watching me, you're likely watching Remarkable TV. Did you know that I'm here every week with another episode of Remarkable TV? Did you know that you can sign up to join me so you don't miss an episode? And even if you're listening on the Remarkable Leadership Podcast, you get these earlier if you subscribe to Remarkable TV. All the information is right here on this page. I hope you'll take advantage of that. And if you do, when you do, I'll see you next week right here on the next episode of Remarkable TV.